I'm here with actor Nick Westrate. Thank you for taking the time to sit down with me
Yeah, thanks for having
and
me.
our other friends behind
Yeah.
us. Now, why don't you tell me a little bit about when you first decided you wanted to become an actor and, around what age you were?
Uh-huh. I was pretty young. I was about 5 or 6. My sister did community theater in our local town, and anything she could do, I could do better.
Hmm.
So yeah, that's where it started. And I feel like I've been in a play ever since, which is not entirely true, but it feels that way.
And then you went to Juilliard, correct?
I did. Before Juilliard, I went to an arts boarding school called Interlochen Arts Academy, which is a boarding school in northern Michigan. And from there, that's where I started my training. And then from there, I went to the Juilliard school. Yeah.
And now, what was your first professional credit once you
My,
got out of Juilliard?
my first professional play was The Merchant of Venice
Hmm.
at the California Shakespeare Theater, directed by Daniel Fish, and co-starring a great actress named Jenny Bacon and two other great actors, David Chandler and Andrew Weems, and it was a great production.
Now, you primarily focused on theater when you got out, correct?
I did, yeah. I did a lot of plays when I got out of school, yes.
Was that a conscious decision to do that and then move into?
No, I think in this business you just take what comes at you, and that's what came at me first was mostly theater.
Now that you've been doing television and film,
Uh-huh.
do you miss the immediate, not gratification so much as response from the audience?
Yeah, I miss the theater a lot. It's less the response. The response from the audience is great, but it's the actor's game. Once it starts,
Right.
it's all us,
Right.
and I miss that. Whereas on film and television, it's so many other people's work that will make the final product. So I guess I'm a control freak like that.
Now, one of your first, or one of your shows was Moon for the Misbegotten with Kevin Spacey, who just
Yes.
hosted the Tonys.
He did, yes.
What was that experience like? Not
was-
hosting the Tonys, you worked.
It
with
was a great experience. It was a great experience. It was my first time on Broadway, and the first night I went on, Kevin walked me right down to the front of the stage during the curtain call and gave me a big ta-da because he knew it was my Broadway debut,
That's cool.
which was great. And he made his theater debut at the Public Theater with Jack Lemmon in O'Neill's Long Day's Journey to Night. So he also went to the Juilliard School, so he felt a kinship because of that.
And now you also worked with a very little known actress named Meryl Streep in
I did,
Ricky and
yes.
Ricky and the Flash.
She's
playing
got a lot of
herself.
potential.
She does. She'll,
We're-
she may come out of her shell and
She
do well.
might, yeah.
What was that experience like playing the son to such a legend?
It was incredible. It was a really great experience. She's an incredible actor to work with. She's very, very alive, and no take is the same as the last. And so it's really fun. She's very funny. And that movie was also directed by the great Jonathan Demme, who we unfortunately just recently lost. He just passed away a couple months ago. And also with Kevin Kline and Audra McDonald and Amy Gummer and Sebastian Stan. It was a really fun family that we had in that movie. And there was so much music in that movie. And in that wedding, when she puts on the concert, her and Rick Springfield, we shot that for so many hours, and they would just do song after song after song after song. It was like being at a rock concert, but it was your job.
Now you mentioned that there was never one take that was the same. Did that make you almost feel like you were doing live theater because you had to react immediately off of her?
Yeah, I mean, she's just so spontaneous. She's such a spontaneous actor, and there are lots of actors who are like that, but she particularly so. She's very mischievous almost in the way she plays the scene. It's fun.
Very cool. And then now you've been on. You've been playing Robert Townsend on Turn, Washington Spies, which is starting its fourth and final season this Saturday, June
Yes.
17th.
Yes.
What's that entire experience been like for you? It's probably, this is your first big network long-term project.
Yeah, it's my first time playing any character for this long on television. It's been great, and he's a very specific character. He's very closed off. He's very private, very insular, and it's not someone I usually get to play. So it's been really fun. And that cast on that show is incredible. And on the show, I run a bar called Rivington's, And in the bar, I get all the great character actors of film and TV come through as guest stars, like John Carroll Lynch and John Billingsley and Johnny Coyne and Randall Newsom and all these great guys coming through who I get to play with every week. It's fantastic.
Yeah.
It's like an acting class for me, getting to work with all these legendary film actors.
Now you guys shoot the show in Virginia. Is that kind of a different beast for you, since it's probably a little quieter down there than your native New York?
Yeah, it's nice. It's kind of like doing regional theater in a way, because you all go, you're staying in this town that you would never otherwise live in, and you're away from the distractions of your normal life. And so the whole cast really bonds, and we're always going out to dinner or hanging out at each other's houses, watching the Super Bowl or watching the Oscars and stuff like that. It's great.
Right.
It's a real family feel.
What did you find the most challenging in the past 4 seasons of playing this character for such a long arc? And did you know the arc of the character from the beginning, or didn't really know how many seasons it would go?
I knew things about the character from the beginning because he was a real man, but he was also he was great at his job as a spy. So we don't know a lot about him. But Alexander Rose's book, on which the series is based, I learned a lot about him from that. So I knew that he would be on the series from the time I started until the end. We, of course, never know when that's going to be. But the most challenging aspect of it with Townsend, because he is so insular, it's very difficult to figure out how to be expressive with someone who's that good at covering, who's that good at hiding, who's that good at making himself not seen. It's a fun thing to figure out how to express what he's going through when you're playing someone who never expresses anything.
And now that you've been on the show for 4 years, or it's actually wrapped at this point, are you looking to get back into your theater roots? And
yeah, I'm very much looking forward to the next play whenever that comes around, and I'm excited to go back to the theater. And I might have a project that will be starting this year, but we'll see if it does.
Very cool. And what role in a Broadway show, or off-Broadway for that matter, would be your dream role to play?
Oh gosh, I don't know. Dream roles are tough. I'd love to do O'Neill again. I'd love to do Long Day's Journey. I'd love to get back to O'Neill, and I'd also love to get back to some Shakespeare, which is my first love.
Now, are you going to stay New York based? I know you have done shows like Quantico and Blue Bloods. And
Yeah. I'm a New Yorker.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a New Yorker. I love going out to California for a time, but I'm a New Yorker.
You're a native New Yorker at heart.
Yeah.
What do you do to unwind?
Oh gosh, I'm listening to a great podcast right now, which I was telling you about, called My Favorite Murder, which I'm obsessed with. So I'm a news junkie, which doesn't really help me unwind anymore, but I am a news junkie.
Yeah.
And
And also now on Xanax and all kinds of medications.
it's not to just deal with it. So, and I love going to the theater. It's my favorite thing to do on earth.
Yeah. I guess for you, you get both ends of it. You get the magic of being in the audience, but then you've also been able to give the magic of being on that stage to the people in the audience. So it's got to be an incredible feeling.
Yeah, and when you're in New York, it's limitless how much good stuff there is to see.
Do you have any aspirations to maybe write your own projects or direct anything?
I am not a writer at all. No, but I'm excited for other people to write things for me.
That's right. No names, please.
That's right.
Nick, thank you so much for taking time to do this interview. I very much appreciate it.
Thanks very much. Yeah.
Thank you.